Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. This is video 2 of 2. So if you haven't seen the first one, you know the drill. And you're still looking amazing. You are looking truly amazing. Remember, amazing doesn't have to be polished. So even if you think that you're not amazing, trust me, you're amazing. Trust Harsh, he knows what he's talking about. But anyway, this is, like I say, video 2, and we are talking about not the Idaho 4 case. I know, shocking, right? We're talking about we're going back to Oregon. You probably remember, for those of you who have been around the channel for some time, I was potentially one of the first people to talk about the deaths of the 6 women in a short space of time within 100 miles of one another in Oregon. There were people in Oregon who hadn't even heard about it, but we had been sent some information and wanted to bring some attention to it. And attention it did indeed get. Now, there's 6 females, and it would appear, as it stands at the moment, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you where we are right now and how we got here. And I'm not going to make it overly complex. You know me, I'm a layman. I want to give it to you in layman terms. So, we currently have a situation where it would appear that 4 of those 6s are connected. And you may remember that we spoke about a guy called Jesse Calhoun. Jesse Calhoun, not a nice person at all. He found himself in the clink, in the clanger, in the cage. He found himself there, and he managed actually to escape when he enrolled in a program that allowed him to leave said box, said cage, said clanger, clink, and went and helped with some wildfires. And it would be, seemingly, during this time with helping with the wildfires, that these, we're going to say the 4, I'm going to put them on screen here, these are the 4 that seem to have a connection with Jesse Calhoun. And this is Bridget Webster, Charity Perry, Kristen Smith, and Ashley Reel. The biggest connection between Jesse and the girls is with Kristen Smith and Ashley Reel. So, what is the connection? Where are we going with this? Now, it would appear that what's happened is you've got Reel, who has seemingly put out an injunction, a court order of some description against Calhoun. There was something that happened between them, and there is documentation out there for all to see, where you can find that she has indeed had some altercation with him, and she has filed this sort of lawsuit, if you like. Then you have Calhoun's girlfriend, his current girlfriend, just before he went back in the clinger, which we're going to talk about in a second. She sees his phone, and there's a female on his phone, and this is not a great photo. It shows a half-dressed, half-naked female in a... There's narcotics in it as well, so there's a narcotics in it. I'm not going to go too in depth because it will get the video strike down with furious anger and all that. And yeah, so there's this video, and this female then finds out that, do you know what? I recognise that. I recognise that female, and that is none other than Kristen Smith. So Kristen Smith is actually in a picture on the phone. And then you've got these more convoluted connections, which connects these girls to the other 2 girls. And there you have a connection of these 4 to Jesse Calhoun. So Jesse Calhoun, he ends up back in the clinger, in the clank, in the cage, locked up, to serve the rest of his jail term, what he was originally in for before he came out to help with the fire. And it was his behaviour. He was basically being a fucking menace. He was threatening people. He was stalking some guy who was the ex-partner of his current girlfriend. They'd found out that he was threatening him. He was sending him messages. He was hunting him on social media. He was following him when this guy went out into the woods, all sorts. So they ended up locking Jesse Calhoun back up. Now, they thought that there was a connection, but what it was, they've never been able to charge Calhoun. They've never flat out turned around and said he is the guy, he's the person who did it. But what law enforcement do is that law enforcement and do I don't know what makes me think that, Jennifer Coffin Digger. So, Freudian slip. What happens is you basically have a situation where the law enforcement will put out a statement and it will say that we don't believe that there is any threat or danger to the public at this time. And generally, when they bring out that statement, it coincides with the incarceration of Jesse Calhoun. So, at the moment, while Jesse Calhoun is back in Clanger in Cage, serving the rest of his sentence, which I believe is about another 2 years to go, there is no threat, no danger to the general public. But it would seem that in this period of time, when Jesse Calhoun does come back out, it's highly likely that there will indeed be a danger to the public, especially if you live in the Oregon area and you are female and you're in the jaded world of narcotics. So, you've got about 18 months to 2 years to get yourself clean, get yourself into rehab, get some friends who'll help you, back you, and get out of it, because the devil's coming. And, don't look like law enforcement want to do a massive amount about it. I'll catch you all in the next one.